Hi, this is Sherita Herring, and I am with the Beverly Hills to Barnyard, and I am so confused this morning. I was going to say, where am I? You're listening to the WCEG network on the WCEG or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, and the WCEG network. We're the worldwide community empowerment group, excuse me, where we speak life into the community. Like WCEG on Facebook, follow on Twitter or Instagram at WCEG underscore talk underscore radio and at WCEG network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show hosts and guests and not the WCEG network. Thank you so much for your continued support. Well, now today, I'm bringing back someone that has been a dear friend for many, many years, but she also has been a dear friend to so many, been a lifesaver for so many. I'm talking about Wendy Darling. She is the founder of the Miraculous Living Institute with over 40 years of experience as a relationship and transformational results expert, speaker, seminar facilitator, management and organizational development consultant, and master healer and coach. She has been a miracle worker. She has created a unique and innovative system, the Miraculous Living Method, that allows you to get the results you want with greater ease and speed. Working with all facets of relationships, singles who want to finally attract love in their life, and that's the attract love now, and then couples who want to replenish their relationship. That's called Miraculous Loving. The relationship, your body and health, with your body and health, that's loving yourself lean, while also focusing on business owners, executives, and their staffs to strengthen the team for greater productivity and profits. Wendy also trains and certifies coaches and practitioners in her programs and with her programs and methodology. Without further ado, I want to introduce you again to my wonderful guest, Miss Wendy Darling. Hello, Wendy Darling.
Good morning and thank you. Listening to that, I almost started getting tired. It's like, oh my gosh. But at least it's been over 40 some years. So that part's good.
Well, yes, yes, yes. And you don't get that intellectual property that you have up here without those years of experience and all of those things that may sound exhausting. So, Wendy, you know, there's a statistic that I heard where it said like 85% of people are in careers that they truly do not like. So we've got people that are spending 8 hours, 9 hours, sometimes 10 hours a day in career paths, um, doing what they don't like. So that has to impact their relationships, right?
I think it impacts everything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we're at a very interesting time, in my opinion, in our country and our world. And we are having a bit of a shift where it used to be like maybe at the time when my parents were starting in their careers in adult life, that you got a job and you stuck it out no matter what. Well,
Mhm.
now more people want to have meaning and purpose in their daily lives.
Mhm.
And this is the dilemma of people that I have worked with, where they might be in a great job, great salary, but they're totally unhappy. And
Mm.
so I think what's really important, not to just bungee jump and leave the job, although some people do, um, but to really look at what matters to you, what makes a difference. Because you're right, if you are not honoring yourself, the things that are most important to you, what you value most. And
Mhm.
also, people want to feel like they're contributing in some way. Uh, then, if that's not nurtured, it's going to impact all levels of relationships. And when I say that, I mean the relationship, first of all, with yourself. And
Mm.
I also believe that contributes to your health and well being. If you're unhappy and stressed, you can risk ultimately, eventually, having some health issues surface, which I also see. And then there are the relationships at work, because if you're not happy, you're not going to be the fun person to be around. Um,
Right. Right.
Not that you have to be fun, but people feel this. I'm sure you've known people that are having bad hair days, or people that are just grumpy and frustrated and unhappy. But then also it does impact your personal relationships as well. Either if you have a significant other, you come home and you're tired, you're not really wanting to engage, or worse, you've had a bad day and you start what I call projectile vomiting on your partner, and that's not good either. So I think it's really important to just get honest. What is it that's working in your life and what isn't? And as I said, you don't want to just bungee jump and leave your job, but you could also find ways to make your job better, that your perception of your job, or you keep the job and you find something else that's going to nurture your heart.
Your heart,
It
yes,
becomes
yeah.
important too.
And that brings me to you're such a great coach when it comes to relationships. Your program that you have, Attract Love Now.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, maybe I'm a little yenta at heart, but I think it's also the part of me that people have referred to me as a fairy godmother. If you have a desire in your heart, I truly believe that it's your truth. And it's just a matter of closing the gap from where you are to where you want to be. And I was gifted a process after a very serious accident many years ago that allows me to find anything interfering, getting in the way of having that happen. So Attract Love Now is positioning an individual in a way that they don't have internal or external interference, so that they can ultimately attract and connect their optimal partner. And what I'm happy about is because for a couple of years, maybe a little bit longer actually, I was not in a relationship, and I have to be in integrity with what I offer. So I haven't been offering that program. Some people worked with me, but I haven't marketed it. I haven't told people about it. And at the age of 72 last year, I attracted my sweet guy. And, it is everything and more that I could have ever wished for.
I'm telling you, you're giving me hope, lady. You're giving me hope.
And that's the part that I like, that I'm 72. Ooh, we're in May. I'm going to be 73 this month. We'll just put that part.
Well, I understand. Look, I'm counting the months, 6 months, 5 days, 12 hours, 32 seconds again before I turn 65, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
yeah, good. Well, it beats the alternative. And so if I can be an example, an inspiration of what's possible, because I see too many people that are feeling they're no good guys. That is not true.
No,
Or
that's true.
they themselves have gotten jaded. They feel pessimistic. And I'm like, no. You just don't know when or how it's going to happen. As you know, Sherita, I was living in San Diego. I was pretty happy in San Diego. And over 3 years ago, the person I was in relationship with, we had a very honest conversation and completed our relationship. And we still have loose communication. And then I felt the pull to move. And I'm like, San Diego, as you know, is one of the nicest places to live in the country. And I'm like, if you're guiding me to move, where the heck would it be? So long story short, I ended up moving to Sarasota, Florida. And sure enough, there's even more detail to the magic and the miracle of connecting with Steve. But a lot of people probably thought, and in moments me too, that I had totally lost my mind, that I literally moved cross country. And it took a little while, but we met. And and I have to say, there was an instant knowing when we did. Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is, first, I love the fact that when you weren't in a relationship, that component of what you teach about being in relationship, you know, you kind of set by the wayside unless you're already working with someone. Because there's nothing like, you know, you're coaching someone on relationship, then they say, well, are you in a relationship? And you're like, you know, that's like you coaching somebody on how to raise kids and you don't have any children or something. So that's how that would be perceived. Now you have another component that I wanted to ask you about. Excuse me. And it's the one where you work with couples.
I
Um,
do.
and tell me about that one.
Yeah, Miraculous Loving is the program, but I work with couples individually also.
Hmm.
And really look at what they want, because I'm always wanting to look at point the target in the future.
Hmm.
We know that there's stuff back here, but I want to focus on what do you really want to be creating? What do you want different? And then we look at the gap and we start closing that as well. You know,
Mm.
sometimes it's a style difference. Sometimes a lot of times it's a communication difference. You know,
Hmm.
people have triggers, and I help to quiet the triggers, but also teach each other how to communicate in a way that doesn't trigger the other person. So there's truly an educational type of component that happens. And the communication's key, and really learning how to be considerate, how to be compassionate, how to be a really, really good listener. And it takes muscle at time,
Hmm.
because who doesn't want to react? But it's not like I or expect them to walk on water. But the learning curve makes a difference, that when those moments happen, it's like maybe they'll start spinning out a little bit, but
Uh-huh.
if you can catch yourself and
Yes.
dial it
Yes.
back.
Yes.
And I have seen people on the cusp of walking out the door to I'm done, I've had it, to, you know, really finding what was there to begin with that
Hmm.
really sparked the heart. And yeah, there are times I will say that couples have chosen to part ways, you know, that they realized their journey had come to an end. Do think that that's the difference in our culture today, that there's not as much negativity associated with completing relationships. You know, there's an old saying that I'm sure you're familiar with: relationships come in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Now, you
Yes.
and I both know people that have had lifetime relationships,
Hmm.
but we've also known a couple of others, including me. So,
And me.
you know, it depends, because one person, for example, grows and the other doesn't, and it makes it very hard. And, you know, after a while, it's like, you know, what am I
Yeah.
going to do?
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing is that we we may be growing, but just growing in different directions.
And
And,
that's a good
and
point.
that's another thing that I had to think about too. There was no right or wrong. To me, the way I look at it, in like even with my divorce, um, we just grew separately. And like there's no way he would have known all the layers of me and where I am now with all the animals and the farming and all of that. Because when he met me, I'm speaking on stage, right? And
Right.
so you can say yes to something that you think that that's going to be what you want, but you don't realize how deep of a dive that was going to take. So, and the thing is hopefully to get at it. But what's so important in what you said, Wendy, if there's no communication to be talking about it, I mean, to be able to talk and listen, really listen without trying to put in your memory bank the way you want to come back. Because if you're thinking about your comeback message that you want to say, then you're not really listening. You're already formulating in your mind what you want to say. And so, and I really have to work on that too myself, because though I think I'm a good listener, when emotion is involved in it, you're listening, at least with myself, my listening skills may kind of wane a little bit because I want to say something, you know? So
Yeah, yeah.
So I have to work on that too. Yes.
Well, for all of us, and I think that I have to be honest, that's the one thing that gives me confidence about my relationship today.
Hmm.
We do a really good job of communicating. And, we've made a lot of changes very quickly. We've already bought a new house, we've moved in together. And, you know, first of all, I'm very grateful. There's only been a couple little minor blips, but we both kind of went, oops, and let's just chat it out. And, that's what makes the difference is
Yeah.
knowing that you have the skills and the willingness to make sure that you don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah. Well, and with us getting older, we're more open to reveal who we are as far as ourselves. We can speak more openly, I think, with confidence of who we are and letting that person know us. But again, it's just all about, but the other person has to be able to talk to you too. And like even when you said your recent relationship and you parted ways, but you're still able to talk because of your open line of communication. And that communication is so vital. You can't accomplish anything without great communication.
I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why, even though when people know that I'm a relationship expert, it's not just relationships like intimate relationships, it's all aspects of relationship. And as I said, the relationship you have with yourself, you need to have self-awareness. You need to
Mhm.
be willing to take responsibility. The relationship that you have, even with your communication, with your emotions, it's a lot more complex than we give it credit.
Well, now tell me this. Your cohort for loving yourself lean. What is that about?
Oh, that's fun. Well, it's fun for me now. That was actually my first personal growth program I created in 1990, I think.
Ah.
Back then it was called Body by Design because I felt, first of all, I had body issues. I had weight issues. I always struggled. I happened to grow up in a family where my mom and two sisters were actually underweight. And
Mm.
I had a very distorted body image because of that. And my insecurities, instead of saying, oh, maybe I'm not really good at this, were directed at my body.
Mm.
All too
Okay.
often, unfortunately, people have a real love hate, more hate relationship with their bodies.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so much junk pouring at us of how we should look, how we should be, what we should eat, what we shouldn't. And it's totally messed people up. If you
Mhm.
just look at diet and nutrition, um, one day eat carbs, one day don't eat carbs, do this, don't do that. So, what I like to do is, first of all, personalize a procedure and program and protocol for people. So loving yourself lean is just that.
Uh,
Really developing an intimate relationship with your body. A lot
mhm.
of people with weight issues are disassociated with their bodies. They
Mm.
disassociated with their feelings. So again, I can find what's out of alignment, what barriers are there, what trauma maybe happened at some
Mm.
point. Because weight, extra weight, is a form of protection. And so, for example, in prior relationships that I had, a new relationship, I would tend to gain weight. What I really loved about my relationship with Steve, that also says, now it doesn't have to be true for everybody, is my weight has actually slowly come back down some.
Mm.
Just telling me I'm happy, I feel safe, my body feels good. So, in loving yourself lean, it's really about loving yourself in a way, because think about it. If you're not good, feeling good about your body, there's stress there. And if the body is stressed or feels like it has to protect you in some way, it's not going to relax enough to let go. So the process that I use, the miraculous living method, not only finds what I call the mischief makers that's creating the interference, the misalignment, we take care of that and we get you in a more relaxed state. I'm able to customize because I use applied kinesiology, which is a muscle testing process. And I can help you determine exactly what foods work for you right now. It changes over time, and what foods don't. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out, and it's totally customized for you. And I've seen people release 20 pounds in a month. Now, the person I just mentioned was significantly overweight. She released 20 pounds 1 month, 20 pounds her second month.
Wow.
Eventually got off, I don't remember anymore. It's been a number of years. We'll say 12 or 13 medications. She needed to stay on one. I had a client who released a good amount of weight over the holidays when you typically gain weight. And we scheduled things so that, like for Thanksgiving, she was going to eat what she wanted, but she also did it mindfully. At Christmas time, she ate what she wanted, and she did it mindfully, meaning she stayed present. I can remember years ago, I was back in Dallas where I lived for many years, and there was a hamburger place. I think it was called Snuffers. And I was visiting. I wasn't living there anymore. And I love Snuffers. Best cheeseburgers and cheese fries. You know, sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
And so they bring our food. I'm eating my food. And in the background, I hear giggles, laughing. My friends were looking at me laughing because I was so in the moment with that burger. So it is a matter of just learning. Like some of our habits are just that. You know, you're used to eating at a certain time, or you're used to going for whatever. You know, I happen to love dark chocolate, and I found a sugarless dark chocolate, and I have 2 little bars, pieces of it every night. And I'm in heaven. So I don't believe in deprivation. I don't believe, but I also believe in being conscious and intentional with what you do. But there really is a mental, emotional, as well as a physical component in releasing weight.
Okay. Now you've got something coming up this summer that you're introducing. Is it something new? What is it that you're going to be doing this summer?
No, actually, I'm bringing back Loving Yourself Lean and Attract Love Now.
Okay.
Yeah, those programs.
Now, are these going to be something that you're offering virtually, or how can someone participate in this?
Yeah, I haven't even started the marketing yet, but if any of your listeners, viewers are interested, reach out to me, Wendy at wendydarling.com, my name, and just in the subject line, put in, you know, Loving Yourself Lean or Attract Love Now. And of course, you know, I do work with people one-on-one. These will be group programs. They're usually smaller in size. I don't do these mega huge anything because I really like to have personalized attention with the people.
Right. And that's Wendy, Wendy,
Correct.
at wendydarling.com.
Correct.
Now, you've been featured in Forbes and other publications. What was that like? I mean, Forbes is the magazine. So what was it like to be featured in Forbes?
Oh, it's really cute. Steve teases me. He says, boy, it's really nice being with, you know, a celebrity. And I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. But I have to say, I've been blessed, you know, that somebody saw something in me and thought that I could add value. And I love that. And I have to say, because of my years of being on this earth, and may I still have many, many more, I started really recognizing, wow, it's just like the introduction. I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people in the course of my career. I've spoken like you to lots and lots and lots of audiences. And, it just sitting here, it doesn't seem like it's been a lot, but cumulatively, it's like, oh, I guess we really have been blessed that we've made a mark, and I'm still making it. We moved into a community now that I live in Sarasota. Shall we say there's a significantly larger population of 55 plus, 65 plus. And so one of the things I'm going to offer in our new community is a program for older adults to really find pleasure and purpose in that phase of their life. Because at first, when people retire, it's like, oh, great, I could wear pajamas until noon, or play golf or pickleball or whatever it is. And that's all great. But after a while, a lot of people go, Now, I also know I'm a bit biased because I do work with youth. And I would love some of these people who have these skills and experiences dedicate a little time to empowering youth.
Well, now, Wendy, there's a grant for that. That they're realizing that so many young people are not interacting with the elderly because there's a lot of grandparents don't want to be big mama and papa, don't want to be that grandma and grandpa. And so the way that, like I'm sure you did, that we learned stories and spending time with our elders did have an impact on us. A lot of young people nowadays are not getting that. So even a lot of the universities now are requiring that young people either do some community service at a senior facility or whatever, because it's that intergenerational relationships. Society is even is realizing that when we haven't had that has an impact on our developmental skills, our life skills, all of that. And so there is grant money to help with intergenerational relationships. Matter of fact, there's one of my clients there in Florida, and she works with seniors and a senior daycare, and we were developing the relationship with childcare centers for the seniors to interact with those younger children, and vice versa, for those young children to get used to interacting with old people. Because, remember being young and you look at someone older, or you hear someone say, old people, oh, and old people smell, and old people. But no, that's not the case. It's just when you are not used to dealing with those generations, that has an impact.
Yeah, I really think that, well, first of all, we'll have to talk more because I'm also involved with an organization called CASE, and that might be something to talk about.
Okay.
I remember I think it's 40 some years ago, I was dean of students for a program called Semester at Sea, and I was blessed to travel all around the world. And one of the things I noticed in places like Hong Kong, the People's Republic of China, is they have such an appreciation for the wisdom of the elderly. Yes. And that, I feel, has lacked in our culture. So yes. I want to be one little piece in closing that gap as well, because there's wisdom. You look back at your life, you probably learned one or two things. I did too. So it's
yeah, I have. Oh my God, Wendy, we are so out of time. We're down to less than 1 minute. Again, how do they reach you, Wendy Darling?
Yeah, the easiest is go to my website, which is wendydarling.com. If you want to talk to me, there's a way to schedule an appointment. It's totally complimentary. You also can email me, wendy@wendydarling.com. And that's the easiest way.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I'm so sorry. I just looked and saw the time has just gone by, as your information is so valuable. I want to thank you again for being on with me, Wendy. We will have you back after the radio station hiatus.
Absolutely. I'd love it. Anytime, Sherita.
Thank you. And thank you guys for those that are listening now, for those that will listen later on the recording. I just want to thank you all and get some rest because sometimes we think we're strong as iron and smooth as Tennessee whiskey. And just recently, my body said shut down. So I'm so grateful. I feel good today. You guys have an absolutely phenomenal week. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Thank you, Wendy Darling, for coming on. This is Sherita with Beverly Hills to Barnyard.